Hello, my name is Clair Naughton, and I'm one of the Regional Development Officers with Diabetes Ireland and also a diabetes nurse. We at Diabetes Ireland are delighted to join Careplus pharmacies in partnership, and we hope to be able to support you as you support your customers to self-manage their diabetes a bit better. So just for the next few moments, I wanted to alert you to some resources that are available on the Diabetes Ireland website that you can promote and use among your customers. So I thought the best way to do that was to walk you through those resources on the Diabetes Ireland website. So I'm just going to bring up the Diabetes Ireland website on screen share here. So this is the Diabetes Ireland homepage, and it's available on www.diabetes.ie. So there is a lot of information about all aspects of diabetes, or if somebody is worried about their risk of developing diabetes and they want to prevent diabetes. So I suppose up here on the top of the screen, you see living with diabetes. So you see living with type 1, type 2, pre-diabetes, diabetes in pregnancy, your child and diabetes. So the user can go into whatever section is relevant to them. The telephone number up on the top left-hand corner is a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 helpline. So we would every day give general support and information to people who get in touch with us by either phoning us, or they can email Diabetes Ireland on info@diabetes.ie. If any of your customers can't find the information that they're seeking in our literature or on our website, they are welcome to call us, and we would have a health professional every day who's rostered on to return these general information queries. So there's two things in particular I want to highlight on the Diabetes Ireland website. So one is our group education course, which is facilitated via the Zoom platform. So that's free to attend, and it's relevant for people with pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So the group education course is called CODE, Community Orientated Diabetes Education. It's established since 2007, and prior to COVID, we would have delivered this group education course in community group settings. So obviously with the current public health restrictions, we're unable to do that. So we recently started facilitating it via the Zoom platform, and it's so far working out very well. So the CODE education course is delivered via Zoom over 4 2-hour sessions. The first 3 sessions are delivered over 3 consecutive weeks. So for example, 3 Wednesday mornings in a row for 2-hour sessions. And over the 3 sessions, we discuss all aspects of living with diabetes, reasons why people develop diabetes, signs and symptoms. One whole 2-hour session is for healthy eating, regular exercise, weight management. As you know, they're the cornerstone when it comes to managing type 2 diabetes. We discuss a lot about personal goal settings, managing glucose levels, diabetes appointments, and what routine checks would be part of diabetes appointments, such as eye screening, foot assessment, routine blood testing, and complications of diabetes. So the groups are, we would encourage group learning and participation, that the group very much shares their own personal experiences and shares their knowledge and experiences of living with diabetes for the benefit of everyone in the group. So people really get peer-to-peer support, and there is a social aspect to it as well. And the 4th and final session takes place after 6 months. So, at that 6-month session, we recap on all the topics again. But that 6-month session really gives people, something to work towards. So if they identify that they have goals, that they need to make changes to their lifestyle, whether that's increasing their physical activity, changing their diet, they can do so. And we would interpret people's blood results as well. So if they get their blood results repeated, they see that there's an improvement in maybe their cholesterol or their HbA1c, which would be a diabetes blood test, and they see the improvements that they've made and the steps that they've taken and how that's managed to improve their diabetes management. So if a person is interested in doing this Zoom group education course, they can enter their personal details here on the Diabetes Ireland website and submit it, and we will get in touch with them then with relevant dates and times. The other thing, if they don't want to enter their details but they still want to register their interest, they can simply telephone us on the phone number there, and my colleagues will take their details and we'll call them when we have a session available. So the second thing I wanted to highlight to you is the Diabetes Smart online module, which is here also on the Diabetes Ireland home screen. Just, I suppose, on occasion, it may be removed off the home screen. It depends if we are running, additional campaigns. So sometimes it's temporarily taken off the home screen. So if it's not on the home screen, you'll find it in the Living with Diabetes section. Go into Living with Type 2 Diabetes and it comes up. So this course, you have to, if you're a first-time user, you need to set up a new account. So you would click on this new account, fill in your details with an email address. You get sent an email which you click on to set up the account. And after that, then once you've set up your account and you've logged in the first time, you can, ask it to remember your password, and you can log in on multiple occasions. So the idea behind that is that, it takes 55 minutes to do the whole module, but the individual doesn't have to do it in one sitting. They can do it over 3 or 4 sittings. And if they log out and log in again after a few days, it brings them where they left off. It doesn't bring them back to the start of the module again. So I have set up my own account, which I'll just log into now just to show you what it looks like. So you can see there's 5 sections: what is diabetes, healthy eating, physical activity, medications for diabetes, and diabetes complications. So I say to people who have pre-diabetes, the first 3 sections are relevant. They don't really need to go into medications and complications at the moment, but all 5 sections would be relevant for people with type 2 diabetes. When you click into each individual unit, it tells you this takes 5 minutes. These are what your learning outcomes would be, what you will gain by doing this unit. And then you have your contents there. So these are a series of very short videos that say, for example, explaining what glucose is in the body, what's type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes, pre-diabetes. So that's, I won't take into it now because it will take too long to upload the video, but it's a video of the body showing the pancreas and the hormone insulin and its action in the body and what's happening in a person with diabetes. So then following on to the next unit, we have healthy eating. Again, you can see the healthy eating unit takes 20 minutes. This is, it highlights here what the learning outcomes are for this particular unit, and then you have your contents there. So some of them are videos, but I'll just click into one just to give you an idea. So there's videos, there's visual tools, there's personal testimonials. So there's, a lot of ways of learning. So here, this is demonstrating portion size and, using your bowl or your plate or your dessert spoon or your 200 ml disposable plastic cup to measure what a carbohydrate portion would be. So if you want to know what a carbohydrate portion of potatoes would be, it tells you that 2 potatoes that are 3.5 inches long approximately is a portion of starchy carbohydrate, or 4 small potatoes 2 inches wide would be a portion of starchy carbohydrates. So again, it goes into bread, 2 thin slices of wholemeal bread as a portion, or 1.5 slices of soda bread. Pasta, again, your 1 cup of cooked pasta, rice, noodles, couscous is a portion, and visually on the plate, that's what it looks like. So I suppose carbohydrates are the main food group that are broken down into sugar. So it's really important that a person with diabetes can identify what carbohydrate foods they're eating and the amount that they're eating, and that their portions are consistent, because that's what keeps their blood glucose levels consistent. You know, again, fruit comes in under the carbohydrate umbrella because it contains naturally occurring sugars. So the portions of fruit would be key as well for a person with type 2 diabetes. So again, this tells you a small banana is a portion, 6 strawberries, 16 raspberries, 12 grapes is another equivalent portion of carbohydrate. And then portion size tips, another useful tool as well. You know, fill up the plate with vegetables and salad, using smaller plates. For example, getting used to looking at what a carbohydrate serving size is. So just to move out of that, and I'll just show you, so there's shopping tips, for example, you know, making a list before a person goes shopping and sticking to it, making sure that they don't go shopping on an empty stomach, so they're less likely to buy, you know, foods that aren't on their shopping list. A little bit about encouraging people to read food labels and have a healthy balance in their shopping trolley. Another little thing, social occasion tips. So again, simply click on, so for example, this tells you to plan ahead. So if, you know, a person with diabetes is planning to eat out, or they know that they're going to have maybe, you know, a 3-course meal or a dessert or something like that, that they plan ahead and maybe don't have any other treat foods around the days, around the time that they're eating out, or to do extra physical activity so that they're balancing what they eat with their level of physical activity. So that's unit 2, and moving on then, unit 3. So again, what's physical activity? What's the recommendations for physical activity? Exercise that promotes strength and balance and flexibility would be promoted as well. We talk about barriers to physical activity and overcoming those barriers, how to exercise safely. Then there is like a little video showing warm-up exercises. And then another one, check your activity level. So a little questionnaire that basically checks your activity level, and based on your answers, it gives you advice. So if somebody is very sedentary and they can't walk for 10 minutes without getting short of breath or feeling pain, you know, it tells them to do chair-based exercises, and they can download a booklet for chair-based exercises. So you get the idea. So moving on then, medications. Again, it takes 10 minutes. We cover how medication for type 2 diabetes works, different categories and effects. And then, as you know, certain categories of medications for type 2 diabetes carry the risk for low blood sugars. So I suppose it's really important, if a person is on medication that carries the risk of low blood sugars or hypos, that they're aware of that, number one, that they know that it's a risk, and that they know what the signs and symptoms of hypoglycemia are, and they know how to deal with a hypo. So that they would need to carry some fast-acting carbohydrate, that if they feel the symptoms of a hypo coming on, that they know how to treat it and test their blood sugar and make sure it's coming back to normal. And then if a person is at risk of a hypo, there's driving guidelines around hypo and driving. So just to click onto this one, which shows visually, again, to make sure that a person highlights on their driving license application form that they have diabetes, they are at risk of a hypo, and that they test their blood glucose before they drive, make sure it's more than 5. If they're driving long distances, they stop every 2 hours and retest. They carry carbohydrate if they feel symptoms of a hypo when they're driving, they pull in, they test their blood sugar, they treat their hypo with fast-acting carbohydrate, followed by a healthy snack. But most importantly, they wait for 45 minutes before they resume driving so that their brain has fully recovered from the hypo. So that's just an example. Again, the final session then talks about diabetes complications, how a person is screened for diabetes complications, and how they can reduce their risk of developing complications. So this effect of complications, it just shows the body, and if you click on eyes, it goes into a bit more detail about eye disease from diabetes, known as diabetic retinopathy, and the National Screening Service for eye screening. You know, again, heart, that diabetes is a risk for cardiovascular disease and strokes, and that blood pressure and cholesterol and managing blood glucose, not smoking, and generally having a healthy lifestyle will really help to prevent cardiovascular disease and stroke. Then feet, again, that, you know, foot disease from diabetes can lead to nerve ending damage, circulation problems. It's really important that a person knows to look after their feet every day at home. So they click to download a foot care booklet, but equally it's important that they know they need to get a foot assessment by a health professional once a year. So that can be a nurse, a GP, a diabetes doctor, or a podiatrist. So then back to Unit 5 review. So again, like that, it can be done in a number of different installments or from start to finish, or it can be done several times. So it's a really helpful resource for, you know, yourself if you want to increase your own knowledge around diabetes, but also for anyone with pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So just log out simply. And just to go back to the home screen again, like I said earlier, if you know you find that you have customers who can't find the information that they're looking for on our website, or by doing the Diabetes Smart or doing the group education course, there is the option of phoning the Diabetes Ireland helpline 018428118, Monday to Friday 9 to 5, or we can be contacted by email as well, which is info@diabetes.com. So thank you for that. Best of luck. Bye.